Hello everyone, welcome to Roma Theory and welcome to the Roma Lounge. Um, you can tell from the title, it's a calm one today. I've got no hurry. There isn't a specific topic we need to talk about. This is just a long chat. So I want everyone here to interact, have questions, because if you have questions regarding Roma, formations, games, opinions, this is the live stream where I will take it calmly, go through every comment, respond to you guys. I don't even have a time scheduled tonight. I'm home alone for 1 week. I can do whatever I bloody want. So yeah, I'm planning to stay here for like 1 hour, if you don't mind. If you don't mind me interrupting your evening. So yeah, if you've got any questions, obviously we have some topics to go through, but yeah, generally, if you have questions and all of that, this is the live stream to do that. It's November. Can we believe it's November? It's already November. I can't believe it. I can't believe we'll be playing Lazio in 10 days. I'm already feeling that pre-derby anxiety. I ain't gonna lie. I'm scared. I am very scared. It's normal. It's derby fever they call it. I finally got my tickets. I did get the tickets for the derby, so it'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting. Stadium vlog hopefully will come. But yeah, so we've got Derby coming up. Can't believe it's November. I'm gonna repeat it again and again and again. Um, we've got a few things I want to talk about today. One of the things is new ownerships. Now you're probably going, why the hell are we even speaking about new ownerships? Apparently, in closed brackets, the Fredkins are having negotiations with an unknown human being, um, to potentially sell the team if they offer the request which the Fredkins want. So that's something which we'll definitely talk about today. Obviously, we've got Coppa Italia this week. It's actually playing right now. The weaker teams are playing now. Yesterday we found out. Yesterday we found out who our opponent will be. We will be playing Cremonese again. Are you getting nightmares? Because I am. So we'll be playing Cremonese in January. We've got Lecce and Lazio upcoming game. We'll speak about injuries too. I can already see questions about Renato Sanchez. And then there have been rumors today linking us with Neonto, Leeds winger. Can he fit into our system? Could it be an interesting signing? Would it be a useful signing? So yeah, right. Welcome to everyone. Hello, Vincent. Hello, it's Sith. Hello, NS. Smalling needs to eat some meat, says Vincent. Hello, Connor. Hello, Julio. How do you think that game goes? You mean the derby? I don't know. I hate giving derby predictions. It's not my thing. I think derbies are games where predictions can't be made. The fact that it's a Lazio Roma game, in my opinion, puts Lazio in a minimum advantage. But it's a derby. Anything can happen in a derby, and I'm not gonna give predictions. I will say, however, that we need to win, and I think we're forced. I think Roma is forced to get 6 points from our next Serie A games, because look, Inter is gone, Milan is gone, Juventus is gone. If we really want to keep the fight going for that fourth position, we have to get 3 points against Lecce and we have to get 3 points against Lazio without ifs, without buts, without maybes. We want to keep this fight going, and if we want to kind of water down the poor results of this start to the season, we need to get 6 games from the next two. 6 points from the next 2 games. But see, in my opinion, it's not even a question. In my opinion, because you gotta win against Lecce. If you don't win against Lecce, then again, we're back where we started. And then again, derby. I know it's a derby, but you have to win that derby. You have to win that derby because of keeping the fight going, and you have to win that derby because you can't lose derbies this season. Because we've already lost two derbies last season, we cannot lose more derbies, or Lazio will stick that finger in us for the next years. So we have a massive pressure on derbies this season, and the first one is technically an away one. The stadium will be obviously majority Lazio fans. It can influence it, it won't influence it, but Lazio did it to us last season, so we ought to do it to them this season, or otherwise, again, it's something which I already mentioned yesterday. We need to start getting points in these big games. We really do. And Derby is a big game. I mean, Derby is a massive game. We have two games before Lazio, which is wild to think. We do. I mean, that really emphasizes the rate of games. Again, Slavia Prague, in my opinion, the fact that it's 2 days, 3 days before that derby, I'll be very honest with you. It's 3 days before that one of the biggest games of the season. We've already won against Slavia Prague. I don't even think Servette, Slavia Prague, and Sheriff Tiraspol have a chance to get before us. So I have to be honest with you. I really don't care about that Slavia Prague game. Had we not won the home game, Slavia Prague game, then maybe yes, the starting 11 had to start in Prague on Thursday. But we won our first three games. I could not care less about that Slavia Prague game on Thursday. I really couldn't. And I really want to see a complete turnover so that when we get to the derby, we don't have excuses of, oh well, we played 3 days before. So I think rotations definitely have to be made. Will Sanchez ever be healthy? Right, yeah. Answering this question, let's talk about Sanchez. Now, Sanchez is back training with the group because that's big news. Sanchez is back, and Sanchez has been out for a lot of time. I mean, he got injured against Sheriff Tiraspol. I swear we played against Sheriff Tiraspol back in September, and I'll confirm that in a second. We played against Sheriff Tiraspol in Moldova and we won 2-1. That game was the 21st of September. So he's been out for quite a long while. And you look at that injury and it definitely did not feel like an injury that kept him out of a pitch for more than 1 month. So what I think happened with Renato Sanchez is, and I think this is something which Mourinho, staff members, he himself agreed on, is your fitness is terrible. You can't play more than 15 minutes in a game and you get injured. So what I'm going to do is, instead of rushing you back, let me keep you out for 1 month. Let me follow an individual training rehab process which can reinforce those muscles, because oh boy, they are fragile, and we go from there. We see in 1 month the stage of what you are. In 1 month, we will see if you've improved, and we will see that in some training session tests, in some high intensity friendly games during training sessions, and Sanchez is back training with the group. Because again, I would not understand it myself why Sanchez would be out for so long for a minor muscle injury. So I think something has been done with Renato Sanchez, and it's the only way. It's the only way we go forward with these injury-prone players. It really is. If we want to keep their consistency going, we have to rotate them a lot. We have to follow individual rehab processes. So yeah, it's very important that Renato Sanchez takes time and has taken time and hasn't rushed back. But again, going back to the derby, playing that derby with Dybala and Renato Sanchez fit is completely different to playing that derby without Renato Sanchez and Dybala. I mean, if we play with Renato Sanchez and Dybala, I would argue, even though it's tough, it's an away derby and it's always a derby, I would argue that we would enter as the favourites in that game. If we don't have Renato Sanchez and Dybala for the derby, which at the time of speaking it doesn't look like the case because both are back training with the group. We'll probably have a few minutes on Sunday against Lecce, but if they're not available for the derby, I think we would enter on paper as the weaker side. But again, derbies are derbies, so we really can't give predictions. So that's I think what happened with Sanchez. I think a strategic step by step rehab process has been done with him. And again, the fact that he got back training with the group with his teammates 2 days ago when he got injured back in September really means that he has gone through individual, personalized rehab stages, exercises to put more muscle on. Is it going to be a Saudi owner? I have no idea. I have no idea what the new ownership is like. We'll speak about it, as I said, but I have no idea who it is. I have no idea who it is. I have no idea what the nationality is. I have no idea what businesses he owns around the world. I have no idea about that. All I know is that apparently the Fredkins are having secret negotiations, and if that offer comes, I mean, I actually think that the Fredkins would sell. But we'll get to that in 1 second. We would face another derby in the Coppa Italia quarterfinals. We would, and that again would be another Lazio Rome derby, so away from home, and that's one leg. So a lot of derbies could come this season. Imagine if Lazio dropped down to Europa League and then we've got more derbies there. I would not like it. I would not like it. Derbies make me go sick. I swear. What do you think? What do you think Roma will win this season? Nothing. I have to be honest. Nothing. You know why? Do you know why I think we won't win anything this season? Apart from, yes, Europa League looks harder. Yes, Coppa Italia can happen. I mean, Coppa Italia is a weird one. Depends if other teams snub it or not. But we have a bad record in Coppa Italia. It really feels like in these past seasons, this team does not care about Coppa Italia. I have to be honest with you. My answer of why I don't think we'll win anything this season all comes down to the fact that both both our manager and our general director have got contracts expiring in June. And again, you're probably going, well, how does that link with winning something? It does link, and I think this season has been planned terribly. Long story short, this season has been planned terribly because you can't not start a season with your manager and your general director having contracts expiring in June. It just can't happen. They will lose motivation, and they will, again, I'll give you an example. Thiago Pinto. Thiago Pinto's contract expires in June. So we haven't proposed an extension of the contract. So you are telling me that in this January transfer window, Thiago Pinto needs to buy new players for this team, knowing that a few months after the January transfer window he will leave. How does that's terrible planning. That is abysmal planning, because if Thiago Pinto's contract ends in June, then why would he even care doing a successful transfer window in January if he knows he won't stay here? And this discussion can be also applied to the manager. Again, Mourinho's a professional. You know how much he loves this team. He declares it every time he speaks in front of those microphones, how he will defend these colours and this badge until the day he leaves. But inside, he knows that if this contract extension doesn't happen, he will leave in June. So why would he have to put the same passion and the same determination that he did last season if he knows he won't be the manager and that this project will end? So that's in my opinion a very big statement. And I've read comments on Twitter going, you can't base this, you can't base this potential terrible season onto this. Of course you can. It's the base of everything. It really is the base of everything. If your two biggest names of your team don't even know if they will stay here after the 30th of May, first of all, players are going to get a lot of power. And that's another massive thing that I'm going to get into now. One thing is building a team with a manager, with knowing that your manager will stay for another 3 years. The players know that they need to follow the ideology of this manager for the next 3 years. The players know that they need to respect this manager for the next 3 years. The players know that their boss is X manager for the next 3 years. If X manager, in this case Mourinho, knows that he won't stay here after the 30th of May because his contract hasn't been extended, do you even imagine how much the players are going to get power in that changing room and start, I'm not saying turning against the manager, but they're going to start going, why do I need to follow what he says if after the 30th of May I'll be here and he won't? And I will be here, I will be the one that needs to stay here in the long term. So why do I need to follow him if I stay and he leaves? So player power is another massive thing that this contract not renewals of contracts brings. And I said, it can be applied to Jose, it can also be applied to Thiago Pinto. This season has been planned in the worst possible way. Starting from that pre-season, which I look back at it and I'm really like, I cannot believe I actually wasted time this summer watching those friendly games. It was everything has been planned terribly this season. Hadn't we signed Lukaku, I don't know where we would be right now. Pre-season has been terrible. Transfer market apart from Romelu Lukaku is turning out to be an immense shithousery. As did I already mention, pre-season has been terrible. Start of the season has been terrible. I mean, not terrible, but not great. Manager and general director don't even know if they're staying. This season has been planned terribly. And ultimately, you question whether the Fredkins really know what they're doing. That's the ultimate question which you ask yourself. Do they know what they're doing, or are they just here to invest, get money, and then sell? Which this, will lead me on to the next topic of this lounge show, which is the new ownership. Right, let's read some comments. We still have to play Atalanta, Juventus, Napoli, Lazio, Fiorentina, and Bologna away. We need to improve against higher caliber teams, otherwise we'd be mid-table in January. Could not agree more. We need to start getting points from those games. If we win the Slavia Prague game, we qualify to knockouts early, and Paredes is banned for Lecce. I agree, but you look at the game we have 2 days after that Slavia game, and it's the biggest game of the season. So, when the word derby comes out, you kind of tend to put everything else in the background and go, let me focus for that derby. I'm not sure if a lot of you here live in Rome, but whoever is Roman and lives in Rome will know how terrible it feels to lose a derby. Especially if you're a student like me, who has to go to school after you lose a derby. You do not want to be me. I've got Lazio fans who mock you until the day you piss on them. We need Iron-made players, says Fernando. I think the Lecce game is the right one for Azmoun's first start. What's your opinion about that? It could be interesting. Azmoun could start that game. I don't think we can risk Dybala in that game. No, definitely don't risk him from the start. Definitely give him some minutes in the end, especially if we win. Lecce looked terrible. I watched those last 20 minutes of that game against Parma in the Coppa Italia today, and I really do agree with my prediction. I think Lecce will get relegated. I really do. I think Lecce will have the downfall of the century and get relegated. Lecce are terrible, especially not just terrible. They're living a terrible state of form. If we don't win on Sunday, I don't know what I'll do. Um, what's going on with Spina? Feel like all of these players are getting injured in training. Maybe Mourinho's training sessions are too intense. I don't think it's that. This injury prone thing has been going on for Roma at Roma for the past years. So it's not a Mourinho problem. Um, it definitely gives you a lot of questions why it's been carrying on since quite a long while. I just think if you buy injury prone players, you can't expect these injury prone players to not be injured. Spina is in doubt for the derby. He'll miss Lecce, he'll miss Slavia Prague. Maybe he'll be back for the derby, but again, unknown. We don't know what happened. Plus, again, lately Roma don't specify on these injuries of these players. I swear that before 2 weeks ago, I did not know what Smalling had. I don't know what it is. Uh, is it true that Marcos Leonardo is coming in January? Could be, but my question is, do we really need him in January now that we have Lukaku on good form, Belotti on good form, and Azmoun, let's not forget we signed him. I agree, both manager and sporting director going away in June. Says Viola, we need an owner like Bowley, bring money and extensions for Mourinho and Pinto. Do you think we should renew Pinto or not? Does it depend on Mourinho staying? I think Pinto and Mourinho never really got along well. To be honest with you, I think both of them will leave in June. I don't think they ever got along well. I don't think they ever shared similar views. I mean, I remember 2 years ago, no, last season maybe, we were speaking about either me or him kind of situation. You either renew me or you renew him. So renewing both, in my opinion, is impossible. Um, But again, if we don't get Champions League football this season, maybe, this is just my hypothesis, but maybe there could be a general clear out. I don't know. Welcome, Chris. Did I miss this morning? Is still injured because he's vegan discussion. Now we did not speak about that. A few people did mention that, but we did not speak about that. Without a huge capital outlay, we won't go anywhere. I feel sorry for Josie and the boys. Smalling is a vegan. I believe he is. Paredes and Lukaku was good signing for this season. You're all right, Broski. Thank you, mate. Pinto needs to renew. I think he's a good sport director. The issues is the FFP. I mean, he is. You could argue that he's a good general director, and on some things I do give credit to him, but what the hell is that? What the hell was that? You listen back to his end of transfer window press conference, and he said, I bought Renato Sanchez because I've always loved him as a player. I mean, so I like him. He's brought some good players in this team. But that's like a child going, the only thing I want to eat chocolate. The only thing I want to eat is chocolate because it's my favorite food. Well, you can't just eat chocolate because you'll end up dying. You can't only buy players you love. You got to look at the benefits that they bring to the team. That's the way I see it. I think he could have, and again, he's been honest. I'm not saying anything. Honesty first. Fair play to him. He's been honest. He'd said all of that. But I brought Renato Sanchez in because I've always liked him as a player. I've always liked, what's his name? Valbuena, the French guy. He's 40 years old now. I'm certainly not going to bring him in my team. So it's a bit, I don't know, sometimes I look at him and I go, is he really your general director? You need corners in to repair connective tissues. You can only get it from meat. There you go. It's always time to learn some biology. I never go to school the day after we lose a game. What's your opinion on buying Eric Dyer from Spurs? Avoidable. As Orlando says, I'd rather Chalobah. And I've seen that he's been offered to us. If we get a decent offer in January for Smalling, would you sell him? I'd keep him until the end of the season. But at the end of the season, I will sell him. I will. Again, the question is how much money would you make from him? And again, before answering to this question, I want to see if he will ever come back from his injury, or if this is a long-term injury that he will always feel. Because again, yes, Smalling is missing a lot of games. Ndika's climbing up hierarchies. I see improvements in Ndika. I've said it many times. Kumbula's coming back before Smalling at this point. Yeah. I think we actually need Marcos Leonardo, both Lukaku and Azmoun being on loan. We need to stop buying old injury-prone players and start buying young players with good potentials. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the comment. Yeah, smash the like button, please. Do it. Smash the like button. Get more questions in the chat. Right, let's speak about this ownership change. Again, for new entries in this stream, I don't know who wants to buy Roma. All I know is it's not that clown that we were talking about this summer. Folieri, it's not that guy anymore. I don't know who he is. I don't know the nationality. I just know that there has been an offer placed towards the purchase of Roma at around 880 million euros. The Fredkins have always said that they do want billions. They want a billion figure to sell this club, and their ultimate goal is having the okay to build the stadium so that the value of Roma increases, and that's logical. That's what businessmen do. This team without a stadium is worth 880 million euros. This team with the confirmation of a stadium of its own property being built, you could even ask 1 billion, 1 billion point 2 to sell this team. The objective of the Fredkins has always been to build that stadium. And apparently this stadium will be built, but it's always a loopy roller coaster with Italy. You never know if they actually agree to projects. I definitely think that, again, whenever I'll be married, the stadium will probably be there. In the short term, I don't think we will see this. I don't think we will see the stadium. But the important thing here is that I think in these past months there have been some. Again, as I said, the stadium, in my opinion, will be built. But I think in these last months, the Fredkins have understood that it's going to be a project which is going to take a lot of time. They've really understood how slow the Italian government is, how complicated it is to deal with it. And they've kind of gone, right, this is taking too long. If the big offer comes, I'm going to sell this team. That, in my opinion, is what is happening. And why do I'm going to back this with some evidence. A few months ago now, we placed a Saudi sponsor on our kit, right? And you'll remember that when we officialized that sponsor on our kit, everyone was like, oh, Roma isn't behaving like the first team of the capital city because it's going against the interests of the Italian government. Now, Rome was candidating itself to host the Expo against Saudi Arabia. So the Expo is like that world exhibition where all countries come together and they show their own products, their own cultures and all of that. And Rome, the city of Rome and the Rome government wanted to host this. On the other hand, against them, you had the Saudis, which wanted to host this. So the team of Rome putting a Saudi sponsor on their kit was definitely done against this government interest. And I think this is intentional. The Fredkins did this intentionally because they've gone, well, I've been here for almost 3 years now. I've always asked you if we can bring this project of building a stadium forward, and you've always told to me it's going to take time. I've had enough of this. I'm going to place a Saudi sponsor on your kit, on my kit, to go against your own interests and to sponsor Saudi Arabia hosting that expo against you. That's the way I see it. And having done that, it suggests to me that it's taking a lot of time for this stadium to be approved, the project to be approved, and all of that. I don't know when it will be built. I don't. I really don't. But it's not going to be in the short term. It's not going to be anywhere near in these next few years. If everything goes to plan, I'll be in my 20s when the stadium gets built. Fredkins they're great ownership. They know what they're doing. But again, in the background of everything, I do ask myself, do they want to do this, or are they just doing this to then ask more money when they eventually sell the team? The improvements have been made. I mean, look, they came, Roma won the Conference League, Roma appointed a global manager, Roma appointed global players. Dybala, Lukaku, Roma wants to build a new project, the merchandise increased, the fan base increased. They're doing things right. But another thing in my opinion is that they've understood that for their own projects and their own futuristic views of this team, the only way to unlock these, it's Champions League football. And they need Champions League football to ultimately bring about their ultimate aims. If Roma doesn't qualify for Champions League football again, I think the Fredkins will sell. That's the way I see it. So yeah. Right, if you've got more questions, do let me know in the chat. What else can we talk about? Coppa Italia. Coppa Italia. So yeah, we've had a few games this week. Bologna got through against Verona yesterday. Salernitana throughout Sampdoria. Cremonese throughout Cittadella, and Cremonese is going to be the team we're going to face. Lecce lost tonight against Parma, who are first in the Serie B, and Genoa got through against Reggiana. And Udinese, it's currently 0-0 at halftime against Cagliari. So yeah, our Coppa Italia opponent is going to be Cremonese again. Sometimes things are scripted. Sometimes things just need to happen. Cremonese in January. The last time we faced Cremonese in the Coppa Italia, we all knew what happened. We got thrown out. This season, we'll take revenge. Revenge against Cremonese. Never thought I'd say that. Sorry for my hair. But yeah, we'll be facing them in the round of 16. And then if we beat them and Lazio beat Genoa, it's going to be Lazio against Roma in the quarterfinals, which I'm not looking forward to, because it's a one-leg game. Whoever wins goes through. If Lazio throw us out, don't even think about it. Anyways, speaking about Coppa Italia, I mean, a lot of people go. I know a lot of people who go, we should just go all in Coppa Italia. I could not disagree more. Coppa Italia brings absolutely nothing. Nothing. Coppa Italia brings nothing. It only brings you a trophy. Don't get me wrong, sign me up for lifting trophies. But going all in Coppa Italia is I mean, it's so poor. You can't go all in Coppa Italia. You either go all in the league or all in Europa League and then back it with a Coppa Italia potential trophy. You just don't go all in a domestic cup. That's not how it works. Coppa Italia is just a way to... It's just a bonus to the season at the end of the day. It really is. It's just a bonus. I would love to lift that trophy. A trophy's a trophy. But do I think this team cares about it? I don't. This team has been snubbing Coppa Italia for the past 7 seasons. I remember a few years ago, back with Garcia on the bench, we got thrown out by Lo Spezia on penalties. Last season against Cremonese. Um, a few years ago, what was it? I mean, a few years ago it was Inter. I just don't feel like this team cares about it. I just don't think Mourinho is a Coppa Italia manager. Um, yeah, I think Mourinho would rather win a European trophy. Would obviously rather use the energies which he would put in a Coppa Italia to just yeah, to lift to different, because he wants to lift that Europa League, and he knows that if you want to lift that Europa League, you gotta preserve some energies which you would put into, and that's why I think the only objective of Roma for the Coppa Italia is avoid humiliations, and then whenever we face a bigger team, let's just lose. This formula didn't work out last season because we got annihilated by Cremonese. But yeah, I just feel like when it comes to Coppa Italia, it's just like, right, let's just avoid losing the first round against shit sides, and then let's just lose because we don't care about it. Um, I agree with Giulio. The formula is terrible. The formula is absolutely terrible. The fact that Serie A sides always play at home against Serie B sides never gives them chances. Um, the fact that big sides, Roma, Juventus, Lazio, Napoli, Milan, Inter, don't need to play initial rounds because they're already qualified in the round of 16, in my opinion, is terrible. It just brings no enthusiasm. You never have a dark horse in the Coppa Italia, um, like an Ipswich Town could do in the FA Cup. It's just scripted every time. The formula is terrible. Definitely don't. Again, it's a trophy. Of course, I want to win it, but we can't go all in it. Um, right, let's read some. Simon, what do you think about Oscar Gluck? He is from Salzburg, and we were linked with him last season. I have no idea who he is, mate. Sorry about that. We all know Inter will win Coppa Italia. To be honest, you're right. It's either Inter or Juventus. They're the only ones who care about it. Coppa Italia's formula is ridiculous. That's why nobody cares about it. Just look at the FA Cup. Completely different competition. Agree. Coppa Italia is Europa League, and we might not reach the Europa League. Mate, I agree. But if we don't reach Europa League, then every single component of this team needs to look at himself at the mirror and go, what the fuck did I just do this season? If Roma doesn't get Europa League with the likes of, I know it's an injury prone team. I know it is, but you cannot say this is a weak team. Whoever says Roma is a weak team, I'm sorry, but you've never seen what a weak team is. If, and I know it's an injury prone team, but if a team which has Lukaku, Dybala, Pellegrini, Cristante, and all of those players doesn't get Europa League, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You need to get Europa League just because of the one striker you have up front. If you don't get Europa League this summer, I'm sorry, but there needs to be a major clear out. It really does. If you don't get Europa League this season, you need to change identity. You need to change project because it clearly isn't working. And again, even if you do get Europa League, it's always the same. You never improve yourself. It, realistically speaking, the only way to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the season and go, what a great season this has been, fair play to you, is if you qualify for the Champions League. Otherwise, there's never an overall improvement. Under Mourinho, there's never been an improvement, if that's the case league-wise. Because in his first season, you got Europa League. In his second season, you got Europa League. And then if in his third season, you get Europa League too. There are no improvements. The seed has been planted. The seed is rotten. I feel like we won't pay attention to Coppa Italia again. Europa League and Serie A are actually more important for this team, I guess. What would happen if we don't even qualify for an European competition this season? Same discussion to what I just said. If we don't qualify for European, look, there could be bonuses. There could be benefits to this. You look at Juventus, they don't have European Cups. They are thriving in that league right now. But, Juventus didn't get in European competitions because they were denied access to it, not because they didn't qualify for it. And that's very different. Because if you get second in the league, third in the league, but then because of penalizations you don't play in European trophies is one thing, and if you get eighth in the league and don't play in European tournaments is another thing. And if you get eighth, same discussion as a few seconds ago, shit season. Not even shit, utter shit. Sorry for my bad words. Right, please smash the like button, everybody in. We're almost... Right, let's speak about transfer rumors. 40 minutes in. I'm gonna keep it going for 20 more minutes and then I'll end it. Again, if you've got more questions, keep it going in the chat. I'll be here for the next 20 minutes. If you've got questions on team, formations, injuries, if you've got some weird questions. Yeah, there was a good question from Connor. Do you play calcio yourself? I do play calcio myself. I mean, not as a team. Not as a team. I play with my school, which is great. Playing football with your school is incredible. Representing your school while playing football is great. We actually won a tournament this weekend in Verona on penalties. Let me tell you this story. So we were clearly the underdogs, and the fact that we've already reached the final was incredible. And we played this final on Sunday morning. It was raining, it was real grass, and it was muddy, it was slippery. Those football fields were like potato fields. The ball didn't even bounce. And we played, and my school is a very small school, to the extent that we don't even have a manager, because we are the managers ourselves. It's such a small school, everybody knows each other so well that we don't even have managers. I mean, our school is so small that we have a 5-a-side pitch in our school where 55 kids play in a 5-a-side pitch every time during break time. And that's our training session. And in this tournament, we played against Swiss teams, which had 78 facilities with 88 managers, Spanish teams that had schools over beaches. Anyways, we don't even know how we got to this final, and we played this final against the best side of the tournament, which was a Spanish side, Marbella, International School of Marbella. These were like giants. They were physical in a rough field. They were fouly. They were 2 meters 70. They were such a good team. And it was 20 minutes the first half, 20 minutes the second half. We parked the bus like we've never done before. We've never parked the bus this well. And we got to penalties. It was 0-0. Every time we got a ball, we cleared it away. We went to penalties and we won on penalties. And it was going to sudden death, and it was not ending. Everybody kept on scoring. So at a certain point, I step up to take the penalty, and there are some Marbella students who are from lower classes who recognized me from the channel and started shouting "Forza Lazio, Forza Lazio" when I was running up to that penalty. I scored that penalty, and then goalkeeper saves it. We scored again, and then we win the tournament, and Marbella can suck it in. No, just kidding. That's the long story. Alessandro says, yeah, but cracked under pressure in front of St. Stephen's Ultras last season. Hang on, are you from St. Stephen's? Alessandro Ruggi. I don't know. I don't know you, but I know Josh knows a lot of St. Stephen's students. Do you know Josh? Josh Hazlitt? Alessandro, do you know Josh? Were you at the tournament this weekend? Because St. Stephen's were there, but we didn't play them. Yeah, were you there? Anyways. Right, football heritage. Power of friendship. Definitely power of friendship. Anyways, we've been linked with Wilfred Neonto in these past hours. The Leeds winger, Italian winger, to be honest, I think he's pretty overrated. Neonto has a classic career of an Italian player who gets hyped after getting subbed in because he's very young, and then he ghosts every single game he plays. He has potentials, but I think he's overrated. I think at Leeds United he's been overrated. Leeds United got relegated. He wanted to leave this summer. He didn't end up leaving. He's there. Everton want him. Lazio also want him. Roma apparently also want him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's fake news or not. I just don't see a player like Wilfred Nyonto fit in our system. We don't play with wingers. How can we even think about playing with Nyonto as striker? He's small, non-physical. How do we even play with Nyonto as striker? So if we do and are interested in him, it's definitely because maybe we want to change formation, start to adopt and implement wingers. I don't know, but yeah. Um, I don't mind him as a player, but I think there are better players. There are better players. Don't get me wrong. I think he needs to be brought back to the Italian league because if he wants to have a good future in the Italian national team, which I don't think he'll have because I don't think Spalletti likes him. He was a Mancini merchant. The only way he can grab that confidence back is if he comes back to the Italian league, plays for Italian teams, and then catches the attention of Italian clubs. That's the only way. That's the only way to see him benefit and yeah, to see him work out. Orsolini is better than Nyonto. That, my friend, is actual facts. Mourinho would have been proud of your tactics. That would make a fire editor if it was an official match. um, After Christensen loan, I don't want to see a Leeds player again. Llorente is the only good one. Neonto passes backwards too much, plays scared a lot, so he's perfect for our squad. Which manager would you benefit us the most after Jose? Right, we're going to talk about that as the last topic of today, and then I'm going to go because I am falling asleep. No, sorry, not falling asleep. I just want to go finish Sons of Anarchy. Great series. Great series. Absolutely great series. I definitely should recommend it. Sons of Anarchy. I was just checking the Udinese score. Still 0-0. And I was just checking when Lazio are playing Bologna. Lazio are playing Bologna on Friday. I really want to go to some away games, you know. I've been dreaming of going and filming and traveling, vlogging Roma. Can't wait till the derby. Is anyone just cannot wait for the derby in November? In 10 days. I am so hyped up for it. I just want to feel derby atmospheres back. Bologna Roma is a good one to go away, actually. I might consider that. 17th of December, just before Christmas. Our Christmas period looks... I don't know how we go through Christmas this season. Roma Napoli the 23rd of Christmas. Juventus Roma the 30th of December. Did I just say the 23rd of Christmas? Roma Napoli the 23rd of December. Juventus Roma the 30th of December. Roma Atalanta the 7th of January. And Milan against Roma the 14th of January. If we're still alive by the Epiphany, I'd consider it a success. I'd rather bring Solbakken. Oh my god. Solbakken. Hola, Solbakken. The player we need the most in January is Marcos Leonardo, not because we need that position, but because he's a special... I agree, but do we really need a striker? I'd rather get a young player in a different position. Maybe as a centre-back, since Smalling and all of that. It's just that. Why do you think Roma is underperforming since last season and now this season? Mate, if I had the answer, I would present the claim to become Roma's manager. Unfortunately, that's what Mourinho himself is trying to understand. I'd love to know the answer to that, mate. I mean, it's a mix of a lot of things. I just think our past seasons have been planned terribly. Anyways, back to the who do I want after Jose? It really does depend on the project we want to start. And that's a tough question. Because, for example, you cannot answer that question if our ownership will change. Considering the Fredkins are still our owners, let's answer this question as if the Fredkins are our long term owners. Now, personally, personally, after Mourinho, I do not want a big name. Why am I saying this? I am saying this because it's very tempting to choose a big name after Mourinho because we need immediate success. And it's very tempting to do this. And the fact that, Conte has been rumored for becoming Jose's successor is important in understanding this. It's tempting to go, I need immediate success. I need to get a manager which gives me success in the long term, in the short term. But you look at the situation we're in, and I think getting a big name who therefore needs immediate success to satisfy his own personal requests would be a very big mistake. Because if we still have FFP sanctions next season and in 2 years' time, getting a big name who needs immediate success will only aggravate what Mourinho is currently doing, which is he can't perform because he doesn't because we cannot get the players he wants. And that's exactly why, yes, enthusiastically wise, going from Mourinho to a little name isn't great, but in my opinion, it's the way to be. It's the way to be. Because imagine Conte under these FFP sanctions. I mean, it would be a film yet to be written. Can you imagine Conte satisfying and building a team without us even spending $1 on the transfer window? It just won't happen. It will just aggravate managers complaining. Oh, it's never my fault. It's his fault. It's his fault. It's his fault. They don't have the money. They haven't backed me. I think after Mourinho, we need, yes, build on some things that Mourinho left, but start from fresh, appoint a manager. I am the first one to say I'd be willing to wait 1/2 seasons for a little name to plant the base of his project, and the project will have its fruitful benefits in the long term. Thiago Motta is the perfect one. Thiago Motta will need time. Getting Thiago Motta definitely doesn't mean winning the league in 2024 or in 2025, but it would mean building a sustainable project, playing with young players, giving value to young players, investing in young players, changing your identity, and going forward and hope for long-term success. If Thiago Motta has only 1/3 of the players Roma has in their team right now, Thiago Motta would get Champions League football with Bologna. And that's not even a big statement. Bologna are such a good team that if you give Thiago Motta just Lukaku and Cristante and put them in the Bologna side, Thiago Motta would genuinely bring that Bologna side to Champions League football. Just the way it is. Just the way it is. So that is my take. Anyways, I've enjoyed it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. What would you change on Roma's formation? I don't know, mate. I don't know. Depends on injuries, who's available, who's not available. If we want to go back 3 defenders, if we don't want to go back three defenders. Depends on the characteristics of players. If Dybala's fit, depends on a lot of different clauses. I think we need a completely new project and freshen up. I mean, the project I link to is Postecoglou's Tottenham. That's the admirer. It won't happen because Prem football is very different to Italian football, and Italian football fans don't give time to young names, small name managers to implement themselves in. Because Italian fans are not patient. Just learn that Italian fans are not patient. So you will never see Roma fans be happy to sign a manager like Postecoglou because they're not patient enough to wait. That's the thing. But the way I look to is Ange Ball, Postecoglou at Tottenham. That's the kind of project I want to see. The transfer balance sanction should not affect us in the next transfer window as it did in the last couple of years, but we should have a little bit more freedom. Maybe go to Roma versus Sassuolo away. They have a bad crowd, so you don't have to be in the away section, and it's pretty close to Rome. Sassuolo Rome could be a good one. Yeah, right. I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy your evening. I'm gonna go back to Sons of Anarchy. Yeah, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments your thoughts and impressions, opinions of today's topics. I've enjoyed it, really enjoyed it. Please smash the like button before you leave. It helps the acceleration and the momentum of this video to grow. And yeah, get your friends and families to subscribe as well. And I will catch you tomorrow with the Roma against Lecce match preview. Talk to you soon. Simo out.